I feel like some of you just do not know what children are supposed to act like because you beat your children into submission. So when you see a 7-year-old acting like a 7-year-old, you feel like something is wrong with them because you guys are still teaching your children to be seen and not heard. People saying Rumi looks like she has autism is so crazy to me because, again, like, what does that look like to you guys? But also, if she does...
So everybody already knows Beyonce and Jay-Z have kept their twins, Rumi and Sir Carter, far from the spotlight, and they've ignored every single voice telling them to do otherwise. But Beyonce recently made a bold move when she shocked the crowd by bringing her daughter out on stage during her Cowboy Carter performance. And wow, people showed exactly why she's been so protective all along. What was supposed to be a touching, magical mother-daughter moment instantly turned ugly because the internet just couldn't help itself. The second her little girl stepped on stage, critics started ripping apart her every move, whispering about supposed conditions, and even dragging Sir into the conversation, claiming he's worse off. Can you believe that? Let's get real. Beyonce has never played games when it comes to her children, and she sure isn't about to start now. She's had enough of self-proclaimed internet doctors who jump online to diagnose a perfectly healthy, normal child just for clicks and comments. To her, that performance wasn't just about showcasing talent, it was about sharing love and family with her fans. And instead of letting it be a beautiful memory, trolls twisted it into something nasty. Beyonce's message is clear: her kids are off limits, and anyone who crosses that line will get shut down fast. And trust me, that's never going to change, especially not now. Beyonce is completely done with these so-called internet doctors trying to slap fake diagnoses on her child when anyone with common sense can see she's just being a normal, healthy kid. And listen, this whole situation is about to get even wilder because Beyonce's Cowboy Carter concert has been the hottest topic in music, but not always for the reasons you'd expect. Sure, fans were buzzing about her daughter's big stage moment.
Well, first of all, I was crying like a baby. Gail King and Oprah were there, and I mean, we were just in tears because it was so touching to see Beyonce with her daughters because she's so protective of them.
But people are also side-eyeing the fact that Queen Bey is charging premium ticket prices. So premium that fans are questioning whether the era of Beyonce dominating the tour game is starting to fade. Critics have been pointing out that plenty of seats at her shows are going unsold, something nobody ever thought would happen with her name on the bill. Some are even whispering that this might be the first sign for Beyonce to bow out gracefully from the touring scene. But here's the thing. Despite all the chatter, the Cowboy Carter tour still launched with Beyonce delivering a massive performance that shut down all doubts. She went all out, proving once again that when it comes to owning the stage, she does it bigger and better than anyone else. Say what you want, but Beyonce will always remain one of the greatest performers of her generation. No debate about it. And this time, she really wanted the whole thing to feel like a family celebration. Blue Ivy came out with her mother, moving across the stage like she was born to do this, hitting every step like a seasoned pro. The crowd couldn't get enough of her polished moves and confidence. It was like watching a mini Beyonce in action. But then came the biggest shocker of the night, when little Rumi Carter made her grand entrance during Protector. And trust me, you could instantly tell she'd been around rehearsals because she wasn't shy about hopping right in. But instead of sticking to the script, Rumi decided to do her own thing, and the crowd absolutely loved it. She started waving at fans like she owned the stage, then suddenly turned around and wrapped her arms around Beyonce in the sweetest, most natural hug ever. That moment was so pure that Beyonce broke character herself, holding her daughter tight in front of thousands of people. And just when you thought the family moments were over, Blue returned later when Beyonce brought Mama Tina on stage. Blue's energy was impossible to ignore. She had the biggest smile plastered across her face, and she kept waving to the audience every chance she got, soaking it all in like a superstar in training. Now let's be real. It's obvious Blue has been waiting for her mom to give her another big moment on stage.
So she went from being super excited to almost being as professional as Blue Ivy.
And when it finally came, she handled it flawlessly. Meanwhile, Rumi was the total opposite. Carefree, bursting with excitement, and just happy to be there. Seeing both girls shine in their own unique ways showed the world that Beyonce's decision to bring Rumi out was genius. It wasn't just a performance, it was a rare glimpse at her family's raw, unfiltered joy. But ever since Rumi started popping up on the Cowboy Carter tour, the media just hasn't been able to keep things cool. Instead of simply enjoying the sweet family moments, the spotlight quickly shifted into uncomfortable territory. Suddenly, people were questioning why Beyonce hasn't shown any recent pictures of Sir Carter. And even worse, they began dissecting Rumi's every little move on stage. Now let's be clear, Rumi was just a 7-year-old having the time of her life, excited to be on stage with her mom. But the internet being the internet, folks decided to analyze her behavior like they were experts. Some began saying she was stimming with hand flapping, and others rushed to label her with spectrum-like tendencies, boldly claiming she must be autistic, all without a single fact to back it up. And it didn't stop there. People then jumped to the conclusion that if Rumi was acting this way, Sir Carter must be worse, which they claimed explained why Beyonce has kept him away from cameras. Suddenly, the narrative turned ugly. Everybody had something to say about Rumi, turning her innocent joy into a debate she never asked for. And to make things even more dramatic, some people pointed back to Beyonce's own words in her homecoming Netflix documentary. She had opened up about the challenges she faced during her pregnancy with the twins, revealing it was complicated and far from easy. Now people are twisting that honesty into proof of something more, using it to fuel their own speculation about her kids. Beyonce has actually been open in the past about just how difficult her pregnancy with the twins really was. She revealed that she suffered from a serious condition called preeclampsia, something that disproportionately affects Black maternal health, especially for women over 35. During that pregnancy, she battled high blood pressure and even experienced damage to her liver and kidneys, which put both her and the babies at risk. It got so intense that she admitted one of the twins' hearts stopped beating multiple times, forcing her doctors to perform an emergency C-section. Imagine the fear and pressure of going through that. She later confessed that the entire experience pushed her mind and body further than she ever thought possible, calling it one of the most testing moments of her life. So when Rumi and Sir were finally born, Beyonce made the decision to keep them as far away from the public eye as possible. She wanted them to have a shot at a normal childhood, free from the constant judgment and heavy expectations that come with being the children of two of the biggest superstars in the world. But despite her efforts, the public still can't stop speculating. People twist her story of health struggles into theories that both Rumi and Sir may have autistic tendencies, even though Beyonce has never confirmed anything of the sort. What was meant to be a testimony of strength has now become fuel for rumors about her kids. Azealia Banks even decided to stir the pot, calling Beyonce out publicly and saying, "Stop hiding your son from the world. People will find out sooner or later, and you're really going to look like a piece of ish for being ashamed of your own child."
Everything, the energy is gone. Y'all, we can't never have nothing. I want the old Rumi back, period. I want the old Rumi back. Why y'all doing too much, all these think pieces, all y'all opinions and shit. Now she gotta come out there and be well behaved. Rumi said, if I can't come out here being myself, speaking to my fans, I'm not doing that dance. I'm just gonna stand here. My girl's so sarcastic though. Y'all seen that little wave where she was like, I know what y'all want, but I can't do it. I'm in trouble. They said I gotta do it right, or this gonna be my last stage presence. I don't like that.
That comment alone sent the internet into a frenzy. But then Kanye West jumped in and made things even worse. He went on a full-blown rant, cruelly labeling Beyonce's twins with an offensive slur and suggesting that using artificial insemination could have produced better results. He even implied that Rumi and Sir might have Down syndrome, completely reckless claims with zero proof behind them. And here's the thing, what started out as an innocent, heartwarming moment of Beyonce sharing her daughter with the world turned into a circus of harsh commentary and baseless accusations. No wonder Beyonce is done, officially done. This is exactly why she's always kept her kids out of the spotlight, because people simply don't know how to act. According to reports, Beyonce is now regretting the decision to bring Rumi on stage at all. For her, it feels like deja vu. Remember when Blue Ivy was little and the internet wouldn't stop criticizing her looks and hair? People wrote whole think pieces dragging a child. It was disgusting. And now history is repeating itself, only this time with Rumi in the crossfire. But here's the catch. Beyonce is already making adjustments. By the fourth night of the Cowboy Carter tour, Rumi's stage presence was noticeably different. She appeared calmer, gentler, and much more composed compared to her earlier carefree appearances. It's clear that changes have been made, and Beyonce is tightening control over just how much the public gets to see of her kids moving forward. So Rumi went from being all wild and excited on stage to almost matching Blue Ivy's polished professional vibe. The switch-up was so obvious that people couldn't help but talk about it. And let's be real, once they got back home, you know Blue Ivy probably pulled her little sister aside like, "Girl, you better remember who your mama is and who your daddy is. You can't be out there acting like a fan. You're Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter." Because if there's one thing we've all learned by now, it's that Blue Ivy runs a tight ship. She's not just the daughter, she's the manager, the choreographer, and the stage coach all rolled into one. But here's the real question. How is it that people still found something to tear apart from a carefree, joyful, beautiful black child just living in the moment? If your mom was Beyonce and you suddenly found yourself on stage in front of thousands of screaming fans at that age, wouldn't you be excited too? Anyone with common sense knows that's exactly how a child would react. Now the tables are starting to turn and more folks are beginning to side with Beyonce because honestly, there's zero reason for grown adults to be going in on a little girl for simply being a kid. Some people are quick to throw out, "Rumi is autistic," like that's supposed to prove something. First of all, what's your point if she was? What changes? And secondly, God forbid a child gets excited to be on stage for the very first time in front of thousands of people cheering for her and worshiping her mom's every move.
And if Beyonce's daughter, Rumi, is autistic, so what? The world keeps spinning. She looks like a happy child, well taken care of.
The logic just isn't adding up. How did people look at that short clip of Rumi Carter and immediately decide she must have some condition? She acted exactly the way anyone would expect a second or third grader to act in that situation, overflowing with joy, soaking it all in, waving at the crowd, and hugging her mom. It wasn't unusual. It wasn't strange. It was perfectly normal. The only thing different about that night was that the child in question happens to be Beyonce's daughter. That little girl was just excited, plain and simple. And honestly, even if she was autistic, so what? That doesn't change the fact that she's a beautiful, happy child who had every right to enjoy her moment. The real problem here is people online throwing labels around like they're experts when they don't even know what they're talking about. Think about it. Rumi Carter is only 7 years old, standing on stage in front of a massive crowd. What 7-year-old wouldn't be over the moon in that situation? Instead of celebrating her joy, people are twisting it into some kind of diagnosis. It's like nowadays folks try to call every little thing a sign of autism, when in reality, it's just a child being a child. That baby was just excited, period. And let's get one thing straight, even if she was autistic, why does it matter? Why are people acting like that would be some big shameful secret? It wouldn't change the fact that Rumi is a beautiful, joyful, and blessed child living a life most people could only dream of. The real shame is on the so-called grown adults wasting their energy diagnosing a 7-year-old over a 30-second clip on social media. Y'all aren't doctors, you're gossipers. Think about it. Rumi Carter got on stage for the first time with thousands of eyes on her, cameras flashing everywhere, and the crowd screaming like crazy. What kid in her position wouldn't be filled with excitement? Of course she waved. Of course she hugged her mom. That's what a child does when she's happy. But instead of clapping for her, the internet tried to drag her into their little spectrum theories. It's messy, it's baseless, and it's cruel. And here's the harsh truth. This isn't really about Rumi. This is about the way people love to tear down black children in the spotlight. Blue Ivy went through it when she was little. Her looks, her hair, her very existence was under a microscope. Now it's Rumi's turn, and folks are proving Beyonce right for protecting her kids for so long. They don't see a child, they see a target. Let's call it what it is. People are obsessed with finding flaws where there are none. They can't handle the fact that Beyonce's kids are living carefree, loved, and privileged lives. So what do? They project, they nitpick, they invent conditions that aren't even there. Meanwhile, that little girl was just enjoying her moment, shining in front of the world and soaking it all in. The bottom line, Rumi isn't the problem. The haters are. And the more they keep talking, the more they prove exactly why Beyonce has always kept her babies out of the spotlight in the first place. And here's the sad truth. It's not the first time we've seen this. They did the exact same thing to Blue Ivy when she was little. And now the cycle has started all over again with Rumi. But Beyonce has made it clear her kids are off limits, and the more people keep picking at them, the more she's going to shut the door and keep them away from the spotlight. So let's be real. Rumi wasn't showing symptoms, she was showing happiness. And instead of tearing her down, people should have been celebrating that sweet, genuine moment between mother and daughter. But no, the internet had to ruin it. And that right there is exactly why Beyonce doesn't play when it comes to her kids. If you agree that the criticism of Rumi has gone way too far, drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive.